Prajavahini. I'm Archana Swamy. Today's topic on Find Your Coach is PETC, Pre-Examination Training for Competitive Exams. Karnataka government has various trainings to create employment. KS, IAS, SDA and FDA are a prominent few. In today's conversation, let's understand what are their different offerings and what's the best fit for you by having an interaction with the Chief Administrative Officer herself, a KS officer, Dr. K.Anjum Hafeez. Thank you, Anjum, for being here and for gracing us.
Thank you, Archana, for the invite.
And let's coming to the topic of PETC. What does PETC offer as coachings and trainings?
PETC first started off as Pre-Examination Training Center, where we were basically focusing on those SC students or other backward classes students, ST students, who wanted to prepare for a government service, but weren't able to do so because of the economic backwardness or probably for not having access. So it basically started off as a coaching institute by itself. It was in-house training candidates when it started off. We had our own classes, we had the best faculty coming in, and they used to conduct classes for UPSC, NKS and all the alike examinations, government examinations. And when the strength got bigger and we thought, okay, let us depute them into the reputable coaching institutions. So that was another change which was made across time in PETC, where we no longer hold classes, but then we depute students into institutes of their choice. So we have an entrance examination conducted by KEA. Munche adarna we used to call it our CT. So there's a small entrance examination given, and then accordingly a merit list is prepared, and it's a normal counseling like how you have engineering and medical counselings, where students opt for the institutes of their choice. So based on their preferences and their marks, they are allotted seats, and this is how it goes for deputing students for government jobs. Like we cater to UPSC, KAS, Group C examinations, SSC, including judiciary. We even So the judges, to become a judge, any lawyer, he would need some kind of he needs to pass an exam, and that also goes through a proper formulated training. So we conduct that as well. So currently we have we have tied up with institutes in Delhi, Hyderabad, and all across Karnataka. So I have 49 institutes on board now, where around 6,500 students are deputed.
Amazing. So how do you select these organizations when you're the institutes basically?
Yes. So this is basically we follow KTPP, Karnataka Transparency in Public Procurement. So we go for an open tender. We have our list of credentials which the institute should satisfy, and once they cross that threshold of being qualified, and then it's just an empanelment, and then the students choose the institute. So whatever is the cost, and usually it's a little lesser than the market cost. The cost is decided, and we sponsor the students, as in we pay on students' behalf to the institute regularly, and we also give stipend to the students for those, keeping in mind those students who will have to move out of the house and take up a PG or a hostel. So for the food and accommodation, we give them stipend, and we provide the course fee directly to the institute, wherein the student can study.
Amazing. Is it for only the backward communities or economically background students too?
Right now we are catering to scheduled caste and scheduled tribe candidates. I think the year back we were even backward classes and minority also had delegated this program to us. So we were doing it on their behalf, but by their own fundings. The fundings come from the respective departments, but as such we belong to Social Welfare Department.
Okay. And is there any probability that apart from the trainings, they're also getting the mentorship and the counseling, or is it just the training part for the examination?
Okay, this is training for the examination, but I must say today in the morning, I got to know that one of the very well-reputed institutes in Delhi, they conducted their first monthly test. It's been 1.5 months, and I think the top rankers are from PETC. So he has sent us the rank list, the marks list rather. So our kids are doing well, and the coaching institute is also hand-holding them. Like now they prepare for the prelims, and in case they pass the prelims, then there's a specially formulated program for the mains, and then they also mentor them for the interview part and counseling. So on the whole, the coaching institutes are doing their bit from a person getting admitted till his journey to become an officer. Yeah, so they've been quite supportive.
Okay, and what is the course duration?
Okay, so
And
for 3 months courses, we have split it like for SSC and Group C courses. We need something like 3 to 4 months training, not more than that, because the syllabus also is limited. So we give them 3 months course training, and for KS we give them 7 months training. For UPSC we train them for 9 months for the prelims, and those who pass prelims an additional 3 months for the mains.
okay, okay. And do they have the mock tests and
They have everything which any paid student gets. In fact, they have better facilities, which is what we have asked them for. So that there is no gap in providing facilities to any other student who's a paid commercial student, as in a student who comes out of the communities on his own money. And the students were sponsored by us. So we've even benchmarked 10% of our course fee for the books. So whatever books a student wants, he should readily get it, other than his reference books and library and their own in-house notes. Whatever he asks for should be provided.
so all the resources, database, and all.
Everything. In fact, a few of our institutes have formulated exclusive batches for PETC, who've got more numbers. So they've been trained well and mentored.
You being a case officer yourself, like what are the challenges while choosing a proper coaching institute or the right coach?
Okay, to be honest, I didn't have any kind of a coaching full-fledged because by the time I prepared or appeared for the examinations, I was already married and settled, and I was not even in Karnataka. So I prepared on my own. But yes, I did attend for a couple of weeks a few coaching centers. Back then, we had very few of them. So
Okay.
we didn't have that stress of which coaching institute to choose from. Okay, but then now we have a lot of them, and in fact, Bangalore and next Dharwad is the next hub of civil services. We have in Bangalore, you have places like Vijayanagar, which are like you can see that they're all through. You find only coaching classes for the government. The similar scenario in Dharwad is where you have a lot of coaching centers. So I think student, when he is planning to attempt for an exam, will roughly do a small survey. That is what I feel. So most of the kids who come to us, they know what institute they want.
Okay.
So because since they are going in, you need to be a graduate to appear for any of these exams. So post your graduation, when you take a decision to attempt for any exam, so that would have a lot of discussions and deliberations with the friends and seniors and other people who are in government service. So kids do their own homework, so they know, and we give them a preference. Like I have 30 institutes, they'll have to choose all 30 in order of their preference. So if they miss out on one, it falls into the next. Yeah, so that way they have their priorities sorted. So that has never been an issue with us.
Okay. I mean, when you were growing up, being a student or aspiring to be a dentist, like I have never even known that you were a doctor. So
Okay.
it's amazing to see choosing a profession. And again, what made you aspire for services?
Well, to be honest, I come from a family which had bureaucrats. But I was never raised to be an officer, as I am a dental surgeon by academic qualification. My dad was an IPS officer, so I had seen him into the system, but that was not what was destined for me. So I was married off, and I was in a different place, out of state, and all that. But somewhere it struck me that administration is the best thing you can do to the society and the people, if rightly administered, of course. So I could never focus on my post my dentistry. I somehow felt disinterested in dentistry because I have my two brothers also who are in services. So I felt that job is much more fascinating, and also if done well, you can do a lot of changes in the society. I mean, the changes that I want for myself in the society, I'll be able to create one, which is what I felt, and I think I really worked hard for it. I've passed it thrice actually through KPSC. I was in commercial taxes department, then I was in municipal administration, and now I'm back to my first department, audit and accounts, and deputed to social welfare department.
Amazing. What a ride you have been
Yes,
having.
I have been through most of should I say, the strategic departments where we had in Karnataka government. Yes.
Your dad was one of the dynamic officers. how come you're not inspired by him, but later you got motivated to be into civils?
I think the family background and their ideas also matter. So until I think in an Indian scenario, for most of the women, the parents decide what you want to be.
True.
So I was channelized over that. So I got married quite early, right after my graduation. And then I couldn't find satisfaction in any other work. So I realized probably this is the field to be in. And I was there. I did work for it, and God has been kind. That's it.
That's amazing. And you, of course, had your own share of struggles. Even after marriage, it's not easy to crack an exam like this, and that too thrice. What were your challenges back then in cracking the exam?
Okay, I mean, if to all those girls who are getting into a marriage and still want to be an officer and all that, the journey is really tough. It's not a cakewalk. I think at least until you're married and you're with your parents, things are a little comfortable. Later, you have a lot of responsibilities. So the first exam that I gave in was my 2011 UPSC exam, where I couldn't qualify for the interview, but that was very disheartening. But right after the result, I had a KPSC notification waiting, and I appeared for that. And the second exam, which I had, I was medically a little ill because I was having my child. And the third exam, I had a child on the lap. So it was quite difficult for me. I think men are at a little more advantage on this front, because for women, the family baggage is always there.
If you could do with a child in your lap, I think anybody can do it.
Oh, it was a hard struggle, of course, but my first preparation was very, very good. So I think that substantially contributed to my successive exams as well, because the first time what I studied, I prepared for my UPSC and for my first KS exam. That was a very sound preparation. So even that helped me a lot in my second and third attempt as well. So I always tell the students who come to me that when you give your first attempt, let that be very sound. Don't give it in the dilemma or keeping the next attempt in mind ki chalo ye bar this ee sari maado nodona eshtagutte next time ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಸರಿ. No, I don't know.
Full focus.
First time only full focus idi, adar ನಂತರ ಯಾದ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ, it is definitely going to help you. Like in my life, my first attempt was the best preparation that I've had, and that definitely helped me for my second and third.
ನೀವು 3 ಸಲ ಬರೆದ್ರಿ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್, 3 ಸಲನೂ ಪಾಸ್ ಆದ್ರಿ, 3 ಸಲನೂ ಲೈಕ್ ಯು ವರ್ ಎಕ್ಸೆಪ್ಷನಲಿ ವೆಲ್. ಇವಾಗ ನೀವು ಬರೆಯೋ ಮಕ್ಕಳಿಗೆ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಟೈಮ್ ಅಲ್ಲೇ ನೀವು ಕ್ರ್ಯಾಕ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ವಾಟ್ ಆರ್ ದ ಟಿಪ್ಸ್ ದಟ್ ಯು ವಾಂಟ್ ಟು ಗಿವ್ ದೆಮ್?
See, this is not something like it happens overnight or in 2 months, 3 months. I remember to give those 3 exams, I spent a decade. Okay, so 10 years of my life, the youth that I had, So that was spent while all others were, well settled, married, or probably they were earning and they were into good jobs, and I was still at home studying. And that's the journey of every successful candidate, I feel. Anybody, they would have just been a little isolated from the mainstream in the society, with the family, in fact with the own siblings and parents, because that amount of focus is needed. So it's worth it. That is what I tell kids. Now it seems very harsh and to be, just into the books and spending all your time. In fact, I tell a lot of my students, please mail me. Don't come to the office. Why do you want to waste 2 hours traveling in Bangalore? 2 hours up and down, 4 hours waste ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಒಂದು ಚಾಪ್ಟರ್ ಓದ್ಬಿಡ್ತೀರಾ, ಬರಬೇಡಿ. ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ದ ಟೈಮ್ ದಟ್ they will have to put in their efforts. And yes, with your
peer pressure ಇರುತ್ತಲ್ಲ, ಲೈಕ್ ಎವ್ರಿಬಡಿ ಎಲ್ಸ್ ಆರ್ ಡೂಯಿಂಗ್ ವೆಲ್ ಇನ್ ಲೈಫ್. ನಾನು ಇನ್ನೂ ಓದ್ತಾನೆ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ, ನಾನು ಇನ್ನೂ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್ ಬರೀತಾನೆ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ, ಒಂದ್ಸಲ ಆಗಿಲ್ಲ, 2 ಸಲ ಆಗಿಲ್ಲ, ನಾನು ಪುನಃ ಅದು ಬರೀತಾನೆ ಇದೀನಿ. ಸೊ ಯು ಗೋ ಥ್ರೂ ಅ ಮೆಂಟಲ್ ಟರ್ಮೋಯಿಲ್, ರೈಟ್?
Yes, of course it's there, but as I said, it's worth it, because definitely if you put in efforts, you are going to succeed. I also put in a lot of efforts for my UPSC, and agilla, but I got into KS. But don't set your standards low. Yavaglu aim for something big. In fact, I tell all these kids who attempt for a KS exam, who take training, ನಾನು ಹೇಳ್ತೀನಿ UPSC ಗೆನೆ ನೀವು ಪ್ರಿಪೇರ್ ಮಾಡಿ. You prepare there and let this be a backing. Okay, so you will definitely, if you have sincerely worked hard, and for sure your inner self, you will know that yes, you will make it someday. ಅದು ನಂತರ ಅದ್ರ ಪದೇ ಪದೇ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ರೆ, ಐ ಥಿಂಕ್ ಒನ್ ಆಫ್ ದೋಸ್ ವೆರಿ ಫ್ಯೂ ಕೇಸಸ್ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಬಿನ್ ವೆರಿ ಅನ್ಫಾರ್ಚುನೇಟ್, ಬಟ್ ಯು ವಿಲ್ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಸಮಥಿಂಗ್ ಎಲ್ಸ್ ವೇಟಿಂಗ್ ಇನ್ ಲೈಫ್ ವೆರಿ ಬಿಗ್. ಬಟ್ hard work is something that you'll have to be very perseverant. As I told you, I didn't even practice my dentistry for 10 years. So I wasn't even earning. I was depending on my husband's money. So, but it was worth it at the end. I got it, though I got it a little late. But yes, I'm here. So
now when you look back at your journey, being a student, being a professional, then again getting married and preparing for a decade for your exam. And today, like probably in the probation period, you would be like, okay, I'm going to like be there in that position. But you are at a stature right enough that you can help enormous number of students and guide them. So how is your mindset and how it has been over years evolving for you to be this individual?
I think there is a little bit of regret also in this because I started off a little late. So I was so focused on my family and all that. So I felt that I should have started off early. So that is what I tell kids. So what 10 years that I have spent, that was post in my late 20s, from there on 10 years. So I tell kids that make up your mind a little sooner so that a time lapse after whatever phase you have, you get settled soon. Now, we were a little unfortunate. Our batch went into the court and all that tussle. So that's one part where we were like, unsettled or without a job for a couple of years because it was hung in the court and all. That was unfortunate. That doesn't happen with everybody. But yes, the earlier you get it, the better it is. That is what, because you'll have a long span of service in hand. You'll have that energy. When you do it at the earlier age, you have a lot of things. With age, things get a little tough. Your energy levels also go down, and then your responsibilities at home increase. So ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಬೇಗ ಮಕ್ಕಳು ಶುರು ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಬೇಗ ಸೆಟಲ್ ಆಗ್ತಾರೆ, ಬೇಗ into the system ಆಗ್ತಾರೆ, and then everything else follows. Your success as per your accomplishments and everything. You have a bigger span of your career.
When you look back, I'm sure there are regrets, there are ups and downs in your career, but at this spot and this phase in your life, how are you looking at life?
I think one has to be very positive to get into civil services itself. So spending 10 years at home, so preparing for exams is not very easy. So I have been positive, and that is what has made me come till here. And I tell every child, like, be positive. In fact, that's one thing I tell whenever they call me for some orientation in any of our coaching institutes. There's one thing I always tell children: take it easy, put in your hard work. You need not look like Albert Einstein to study, right? You have the smile on your face, take it one at a time, and be happy, be focused. And I've always been a very cheerful person, so I think I never had any negativity setting in. So I mean, touch wood. I've been there with the same energy, I guess, unless someone reminds me of my age and all that. So I still feel what it's been like. This is the seventh year of my service. I still feel like how I was at day one. Yes, you will grow, you will mature in the as your job progresses professionally. You will mature, but you'll have to keep your energy levels high. So
according to you, do you think women or the girls have it more challenging than the other gender?
Of course, because when we have these natural milestones in life, that you get married, then you have a child. So I think men are at a little more. I can't say women are disadvantaged. I can say men are a little more advantaged in this field, because we always back home we have responsibilities. Men do have, but it's not as much as it is for women.
And as you grow up the ladder, you see the thin population of women. And do you think that makes a difference to be more challenging?
Yeah, but somehow if you look at Karnataka Sarkara, we see equal numbers.
How do?
So right from a Group C cadre till Chief Secretary, we've always had it in rotation, I guess.
True.
So Sir retires, Madam comes in. So it's like that. So it's very nice. We get our comfort zone when we see many women there, and they've been quite supportive as well.
And it's always inspiring to see some women in the top position. Yes. It aspires and inspires a lot.
Correct. So when I'm sitting on the chair as well, there are a lot of girl students who come in. So all the boys always complain, madam, ನೀವು ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ತುಂಬಾ ನೀವು ಇದು ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ, ನೀವು favoritism ತೋರಿಸ್ತೀರಾ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ. Like, no, because I can make out that they have left their parents, they've come in, they're a little bit emotionally a little weak and all that. But I think we also make one of the strongest officers, being a woman, because I think
ಹೆಣ್ಮಕ್ಕಳಿಗೆ ಏನು ಹೇಳಕ್ಕೆ ಇಷ್ಟಪಡ್ತೀರಾ ಆ ವಿಷಯದಲ್ಲಿ?
ಹೆಣ್ಮಕ್ಳು as it is, ಹೆಣ್ಮಕ್ಳು are quite strong. So the generation is different now, difficult. But yes, when you make major decisions in life, so take a well thought decision. Career ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾದ್ರೇನು ಏನು ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, because don't get stuck midway is what I feel. I see a lot of students who pursue it for 2-3 years, and then suppose God forbid, and for, they don't crack the exam, then they leave it. So again agutte. So when you do such kind of things, you don't get the time back. So nanen ಹೇಳ್ತೀನಿ, ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ once you want to enter it, get through it. ಅಂತ. So ಆವಾಗ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, there are a lot of your family decisions that will be pending. Like I see a lot of people, like, not getting married, or they get married but they don't have children because they have a career ahead and all that. So once a decision ತಗೊಂಡಾದ್ಮೇಲೆ boldly you cross the path. That's what I say. Don't lose hope midway, because you're losing out on a lot of, you're sacrificing a lot of personal things for this. So it's not worth that you regress your steps.
ಇವಾಗ ನೀವ್ ಹೇಳಿದ ಹಾಗೆ ಟೈಮ್ ವೇಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಬಾರ್ದು ಅಂತ, ಎಲ್ರಿಗೂ ಟೈಮ್, ಯಾರಿಗೂ ಟೈಮ್ ವೇಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಅನ್ಸಲ್ಲ. ಬಟ್ ಆದ್ರೂನು ಈ ಫಾಸ್ಟ್ ವರ್ಲ್ಡ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಫೋನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಸ್ಕ್ರೋಲ್ ಮಾಡೋದ್ರಲ್ಲಿ ಟೈಮ್ ಅರ್ಧ ಕಳೆದೋಗುತ್ತೆ.
I tell all the kids, ನೀವು ಆಫೀಸರ್ ಆಗ್ಬೇಕಂದ್ರೆ, especially for this generation, I tell them, please either you take away the network or you change your phone to a QWERTY phone. For communicating with your parents, that is enough. ನೀವು ಇದು ಓದ್ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ kindly keep your smartphones away. So because it's the biggest distraction that I think probably my generation didn't have back then. Like I'm talking about 10-15 years back. Ashtu in ಹೋಗಿರ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ. So this wastes a lot of time, of course.
So coming back to the topic of the conversation, having a right coach ಎಷ್ಟು ಮಟ್ಟಿಗೆ important?
Yeah, ivaga mentorship is definitely important, because for the students who are going to start it off, ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಏನು ಗೊತ್ತಿರಲ್ಲ, they just like blank paper. Okay, so ಅವ್ರನ್ನ ಎಷ್ಟು ಮಟ್ಟಿಗೆ ತಯಾರು ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ, now we have a lot of institutes suppose on board, or coaching institutes in the market. Why is it that only a few of them get filled so fast? That is because their way of approach and their way of mentoring the students or connecting with the students is much better than the others. So anta idrali, and we also see results from certain particular institutes. ಅದು ಯಾಕೆ ಅಂದರೆ, one is of course hard work, and everything has to happen with the effort of the students, no doubt. But when you have someone to brainstorm you well and guide you well. See, the subject and the material, back then we had to ourselves find material. Now you are flooded with material. So that is also a problem now, because you will have to know which one to choose. Namdu yenittu, we had to refer 10 books and we had to extract material from that. Now you have so much material, you cannot afford to spend time on all of those, and then you will have to choose, pick the best, or cherry pick it. And anta idrali, when you have good mentors, and they will know, and especially prelims is all about how much you have read. Your knowledge. Mains is all about your presentation of things. So I think for mains and interview is where you need a lot of mentorship, because children come with different academic backgrounds. You'll have students from state syllabus, you have students from CBSE, you'll have students from ICSE, and all that. So anta idrali, their way of presenting an answer, their way of conceptualizing things will be a little different. It will be different grades. So anta idrali, alli ಏನು ಬೇಕಾಗಿದೆ to fetch marks? What is it that you need to put forth? What is it that you need to highlight? What you need to emphasize? What is it that you need to let go? So for all that we need mentors. So that definitely is a big help. But at the end, again, 75-25. 25 mentorship, 75% is the student's own efforts.
There's a lot of information available, as you said, but how much of it is reputable? When do you guide a certain organization or a website, or the information to your students in any way through your sector, or only through the coaching centers that happens?
When a lot of students come and ask me, madam, where did you study at? So good that I didn't get into any coaching institute, because then ನಾನು ಒಬ್ರಿಗೆ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ then that will show partisanship. Yeah, so adilla. But when we empanel an institute also, we ask them for a set of books.
Okay.
So I very I take out time and I go through all the material that, so few of them have exceptionally good material, the way it has been, presented, articulated. Okay. So, ಕೆಲವರು ತುಂಬ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ಮಾಡಿರ್ತಾರೆ. Few are very simple, easy going for the beginners ಅನ್ಸುತ್ತೆ. So, ಅವ್ರವ್ರದ್ದು, and I've also had a visit to a couple of institutes. They have their own team to make a material. They have like the studio, they have their own setup where people are doing nothing but articulating the material and
Wow.
in-house preparation.
That's amazing.
There's one team which just sits and finds all the news and
Compiles
yeah,
it, huh?
it's compartmentalized, and they have very a coaching institution is just not about someone coming up and conveying information. A teacher student tara, that's one part of it. But what goes behind it is there's a team which does all the online idakke prepare ಮಾಡ್ತಿರ್ತಾರೆ, pre-recorded classes. Even in fact 80 to 90% of the institutes, I must say. Then there's a team which just looks into the news all across the globe and what best suits our topic or our subject or our exam. Adarna articulate my. There's a team which is just a research and development. R&D teams all institutes have. They just try to come up with better and better material. And there's one team which makes only question papers, tests. What question has to be given and what should be the key, the 4 options for an answer. And so it's a well organized setup everywhere. So they're all equally good, I feel so.
So according to you, they are diverse in their approach.
Yes, they're very specialized also. They all have their own teams in one institute to do all this work, and then the teaching begins.
Okay. And how flexible and yet focused are they for the child's benefit, the student's benefit?
I think all of them are very focused because I think the first thing that I say after getting into PETC, then the first status irli athwa message irli will be from a coaching institute itself, where they'll put up what is their newspaper article hakirtare athwa guest ge lecture ge kardire athwa test conduct ಮಾಡಿರ್ತಾರೆ, something special each day they keep doing for the benefit of the. So they're putting in all this hard work naturally for the benefit of the students, undoubtedly. So they're putting in a lot of efforts. I must actually appreciate and acknowledge them for that. Ellaru their whole focus is to see to it that things are provided to the student rightly and as they want. So many kids want it in a different manner, and some want weekly tests, some want weekends tests, and some want monthly idu ಮಾಡಿ ಮತ್ತೆ ಅವ್ರು ಹೇಗೆ ಡಿಮಾಂಡ್ಸ್ put across ಮಾಡ್ತಿರ್ತಾರೆ, they're
so
obliging
the teaching methodology also is being updated as the child's needs.
Yes, they do, and all of them have digital libraries, and that's a part of a tender requirement as well. They should have well-equipped digital libraries, and they should be able to give them digital classes, pre-recorded classes when they want to, and at least one model paper a month, and they'll have to upload the marks and all that. So it's a part of a tender itself. It's not like just picking up a kid and just leaving him. We haven't abandoned any of our students, so we monitor them all too, and the coaching institute is also putting a lot of efforts.
And how do your department measure the success of the students, like to whatever the coaching center provides you, or do you have any other
since I'm here from last 6-7 months, just to gauge how well they have been trained, I thought midway we will have a question paper for all the students. And also we have this monthly interaction program of the students with the IAS and IPS officers recently who've passed out. So in between we had MCC, and then we had the students KA exams ella bantu. Adra munche ನಾವು first episode ಮಾಡಿದ್ವಿ where we called in 2 IPS officers, 1 commissioner income taxes, and IAS officer who was of course our commissioner sir and also secretary for KPSC. So the students asked them how they prepare and how they have to write answers, and with subject specific students ella questions ಕೇಳಿದ್ರು. So ಆ interaction ನಾವು ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ from PETC, so where they can come and actually ask questions to people who have already succeeded and into civil services. So they interact, they guide them on how to answer, and few people have concerns about the subjects, what subjects to choose, so they get this. So we have two-way interaction all the time.
No, in fact, it was that non-approachable aspect when it comes to officials for a longer period. But our team has seen when they have come to meet you for your appointment that you have been freely interacting with all the girls and all the students, in fact, who came to approach the officer, thinking who the officer is. But we were kindly surprised to see how you were interacting with everybody. So what is that you have learnt, or what is that you are giving?
It's a public office, so public is always welcome. We are sitting there for them, to serve them. So I think every public office is open, or should I say it has to be open for all the visitors.
I wish every government official is so
probably
approachable.
They don't have the time, and since my office is specialized in dealing only with students so probably in many other offices they have so many other requirements of attending meetings of the higher ups, attending to the government and all that. So I think otherwise I feel all public officers are kind of approachable.
I mean, no offense to anybody, but most of the time their time is resolved in resolving most of the issues in the office than the public issues.
Yeah, it does happen. Yeah, that's where we have to put in a little more of efforts and patience and squeeze in our personal time and attend to public. And these are students, so I can never ignore them. I don't know whether in a public scenario what I would do, but for students, yes, of course, we do stay back. I think we work up till late evening because we have a lot of students, kids coming in, and we cannot just refuse to meet them or attend to them.
How challenging it is, because as you said, for male population it's a lot easier. You have a family, you have a husband, you have a child, and you have a house to attend, and nobody would question your husband if he's late. But again, the same thing, mother's guilt you will be feeling, and may not be questioning, but somewhere that thoughts come up like, why are you so late? Even though they are aware of you being a KAS officer, you have so many works to attend, still it's very challenging to satisfy ourselves first and to put all the unnecessary guilt aside and work. And how challenging it is from the outside world for you?
Well, it is very taxing, and that's on a daily basis. It's taxing. Yeah, so I get very little time back home. So we start a day early by 5 a.m. in the morning so that I get more family time in the early hours, and my son is with me and all that. So yeah, we get back home, and again it's very tiring, but then I have to attend to my responsibilities, my child, his study and all that. It is. But yes, there is greater satisfaction also. When we end the day, we know that yes, we've done something good, served someone today. So
I'm sure
that's also
the
a
satisfaction.
Yeah, that's a takeaway from the office, that yes, we are happy at the end of the day. We've done our job. Whatever best we could give, we have.
And that's truly satisfying for you. That's all that matters.
Yes, it is.
ಅಮೇಝಿಂಗ್. ಟೈರ್ 2 ಟೈರ್ 3 ಸಿಟೀಸ್, ಇವಾಗ ಸಣ್ಣ ಪುಟ್ಟ ಪಟ್ಟಣಗಳು ಇಲ್ಲಾಂದ್ರೆ ಗ್ರಾಮಗಳಿಂದ ಬರ್ತಾರಲ್ಲ, ಆ ಮಕ್ಕಳಿಗೆ ಈ ಕೋಚಿಂಗ್ ಇನ್ಸ್ಟಿಟ್ಯೂಟ್ಸ್ಗೆ ಹೋಗೋ ಅಷ್ಟು ಅವೈಲಬಿಲಿಟಿನೂ ಇರಲ್ಲ, ಏನಂತಾರ ಸೌಲಭ್ಯಗಳು ಯಾವುದು ಇರಲ್ಲ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ. ಸೊ ಅಂತ ಮಕ್ಕಳಿಗೆ ಅವ್ರೇನಾದ್ರೂ ಆಸ್ಪೈರಿಂಗ್ ಇದ್ರೆ, ನಾನು ಏನಾದ್ರೂ ಓದ್ಲೇಬೇಕು, ಒಂದು ಗ್ರೂಪ್ ಸಿನೋ ಗ್ರೂಪ್ ಡಿನೋ ಏನೋ ಒಂದು ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಂದ್ರೆ ಅವ್ರಿಗೇನು ನೀವು ಸಲಹೆ ಕೊಡ್ತೀರಾ?
ಆಕ್ಚುಲಿ ನಮ್ಮ ಹತ್ರ ಬರೋ ಮಕ್ಕಳು ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟ್ಲಿ ಯಾರು ಬರೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಅವರು ಅದಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಮುಂಚೆ ಒಂದು KE ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್ they have to face the exam. ಪಾಸ್ ಆಗಿ ಬಂದಿರ್ತಾರೆ. ಸೊ ಆ ಏನ್ ವಿಂಡೋ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಟೈಮ್ ಫ್ರೇಮ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಅವರು ಬೇರೆಯವ್ರ ಜೊತೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ವಿಚಾರಿಸಿರ್ತಾರೆ, ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಹೋಗ್ಬೇಕು, ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ. ಸೊ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅಷ್ಟು ಹ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಹೋಲ್ಡಿಂಗ್ ಆಗಿರಲ್ಲ, ಅಷ್ಟು ಗೈಡೆನ್ಸ್ ಸಿಕ್ಕಿರಲ್ಲ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ, ಬಟ್ ಅಟ್ಲೀಸ್ಟ್ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿರುತ್ತೆ, ಓಕೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ. ಅಂಡ್ ನಾವು ವೆಬ್ಸೈಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಎವ್ರಿಥಿಂಗ್, ನಾವು ಇರೋದು ಎಲ್ಲ ಮಾಹಿತಿನ ವೆಬ್ಸೈಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಪಬ್ಲಿಷ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಸೊ ಅಂತದ್ರಲ್ಲಿ ಅವರು ಮುಂಚೆ ಒಂದು ಪ್ರೀ ಡಿಸೈಡೆಡ್ ಮೈಂಡ್ ಸೆಟ್ ಇಂದ ಕೆಲವರು ಬರ್ತಾರೆ, ಕೆಲವರು ಬರ್ತಾರೆ. ಐ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಸೀನ್ ಸ್ಪೆಷಲಿ ಟೈರ್ 2 ಟೈರ್ 3 ಹೇಳೋಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಬದಲು ಬ್ಯಾಂಗ್ಳೂರಲ್ಲಿ ಅಕ್ಕಪಕ್ಕದಲ್ಲಿ ನಮ್ಮ ಹತ್ರ ಚಿಕ್ಕಬಳ್ಳಾಪುರಿಂದ ಬರೋ ಮಕ್ಕಳು, ಕೆಲವು ಮಕ್ಕಳು ದೇ ಕಮ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ KR ನಗರಿಂದ ಬಂದಿರ್ತಾರೆ. ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿರುತ್ತೆ ಎಲ್ಲಿದೆ, ಬಟ್ ಸ್ಟಿಲ್ ಬಂದು ನಮ್ಮ ಸಲಹೆ ಕೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ಸೊ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಯಾವ ಲ್ಯಾಂಗ್ವೇಜ್ ಬೇಕಾಗಿದೆ, ಅವ್ರ ಇಂಟ್ರೆಸ್ಟ್ ಏನಿದೆ, ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನಾವು ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ಪರ್ಸನಲಿ ಕೌನ್ಸಿಲಿಂಗ್ ಮಾಡಕ್ ಆಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ, ಬಟ್ ಇಂಥ ಮಕ್ಕಳು ಹೂ ಡೋಂಟ್ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಎನಿ ಐಡಿಯಾ, ಏನು ಗೊತ್ತಿರಲ್ಲ, ಬಟ್ KE ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಅವರು ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿರ್ತಾರೆ, ನಮ್ಮ ಸೆಲೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಲಿಸ್ಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಬಂದಿರ್ತಾರೆ, ಅಂತ ಮಕ್ಕಳಿಗೆ ನಾವು ಗೈಡ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ ಔಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಅವರ್ ಓನ್ ಪರ್ಸನಲ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೀರಿಯನ್ಸ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಬೀಯಿಂಗ್ ಇನ್ ದ ಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್. ಅಂಡ್ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಆಪ್ಷನಲ್ ಸಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ತಕ್ಕಂತೆ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿರುತ್ತೆ, ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ನಾವು ಆ ಪ್ರೋಸೆಸ್ ಇಂದಾನೆ ಬಂದಿರೋದು. ಸೊ ಯಾವ ಇನ್ಸ್ಟಿಟ್ಯೂಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಸೊ ನಮ್ದು ಪರ್ಸನಲ್ ಗೈಡೆನ್ಸ್ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ, ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ಅ ಮ್ಯಾಂಡೇಟ್ ಆನ್ ದೆಮ್, ಅವ್ರ ಮೇಲೆ ಫೋರ್ಸ್ಫುಲ್ ಇರಲ್ಲ, ಬಟ್ ನಾವು ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ, ನೋಡಿ ನೀವು ಕನ್ನಡ ಮೀಡಿಯಂ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಈ ಇನ್ಸ್ಟಿಟ್ಯೂಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿರುತ್ತೆ. ಅಂಡ್ ಟೆಂಡರ್ ಪ್ರೋಸೆಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲೇ ನಾನು ಐ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಸ್ಕ್ರೂಟನೈಸ್ಡ್ ಆಲ್ ದೇರ್ ಥಿಯರಿ ಮೆಟೀರಿಯಲ್, ಇನ್ ಹೌಸ್ ಬುಕ್ಸ್ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಸೊ ನನಗೂ ಒಂದು ಐಡಿಯಾ ಇದೆ ಯಾರ್ದು ಯಾವ ಮಟ್ಟಿಗೆ ಇದೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು, ಅವ್ರದ್ದು ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟೇಷನ್, ಅವ್ರ ಬುಕ್ಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ಮಕ್ಕಳು ಯಾರು ಪ್ರೀ ಡಿಸೈಡೆಡ್ ಬಂದಿರ್ತಾರೆ ಅದನ್ನ ತಗೊಂತಾರೆ, ವಿ ಡೋಂಟ್ ಇನ್ಫ್ಲೂಯೆನ್ಸ್ ದೆಮ್. ಬಟ್ ಯಾವ ಮಕ್ಕಳು ನಮ್ ಬಂದು ಕೇಳ್ತಾರೆ, ಡೆಫಿನೆಟ್ಲಿ ಇಟ್ಸ್ a personal subjective choice, and I tell them what could ಬಿ ಬೆಟರ್ ಫಾರ್ ದೆಮ್, ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಏನು ಒಳ್ಳೇದಿರ್ಬೋದು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ನಾವು ಅಲ್ಲೇ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಜಾಯಿನ್ ಮಾಡಿಸ್ತೀವಿ. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನಾವು ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ, ಅವರಲ್ಲಿ
ಮಾರ್ಗದರ್ಶನ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ?
ಹೌದು, ಯಾರು ಬರ್ತಾರೆ ಎಲ್ಲರೂ. ತುಂಬಾ ಮಕ್ಕಳು ತುಂಬಾ ಕನ್ಫ್ಯೂಸ್ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಮೈಂಡ್ ಅಲ್ಲೂ ಬರ್ತಾರೆ, ಇದ್ ಬರಿಬೇಕಾ ಅದ್ ಬರಿಬೇಕಾ, ಯಾವ್ದು ಚೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ. ಸೊ ಅಂತ ಮಕ್ಳಿಗೆ ನಾವು ವಿ ಗಿವ್ ದೆಮ್ ಗೈಡೆನ್ಸ್ ಲುಕಿಂಗ್ ಅಟ್ ದೇರ್ ಕ್ರಿಡೆನ್ಷಿಯಲ್ಸ್, ಅವ್ರದ್ದು ವ್ಯಕ್ತಿತ್ವ ಏನಿದೆ, ಅವ್ರದ್ದು ಪರ್ಸನಲ್ ಏನ್ ಅಕಾಡೆಮಿಕ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇರ್ಬೋದು ಮುಂದೆ. ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಏನಿದ್ರು ಅಲ್ಟಿಮೇಟ್ಲಿ ವಾಟ್ ವಿ ನೀಡ್ ಇಸ್ ದಟ್ the child should succeed in the exam and get into a job. ಸೊ ತೀರಾ ಅಕಾಡೆಮಿಕ್ಲಿ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಇಂಟ್ರೆಸ್ಟ್ ಇರೋ ಮಕ್ಳಿಗೂ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಆಸೆ ಇರುತ್ತೆ ಗೌರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಜಾಬೇ ಬೇಕು ಅಂತ. ಈಗ ಅವ್ರು ಕೂತ್ಕೊಂಡು ತುಂಬಾ ಟಫ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್ಸ್ ನ ಫೇಸ್ ಮಾಡೋದು ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಟೈಮ್ ಡಿಮಾರಲೈಸ್ ಆಗ್ಬಿಡ್ಬೋದು, ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಟೈಮ್ ಅವ್ರು ಅಟೆಂಪ್ಟೇ ಮಾಡೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ವಿ ವಿಲ್ ಟೆಲ್ ದೆಮ್ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಚಿಕ್ಕ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್ಸು ಬೇರೆ ಬೇರೆ ಏನೇನು ನೋಟಿಫಿಕೇಶನ್ಸ್ ಅದು ನಾವು ನಮ್ಮ ವೆಬ್ಸೈಟಲ್ಲಿ ಎಲ್ಲೆಲ್ಲಿ ಆಲ್ ಅಕ್ರಾಸ್ ದ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕದಲ್ಲಿ ಮತ್ತೆ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಓದೋ ಮಕ್ಕಳು ಏನು ಭಾರತದಲ್ಲಿ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್ಸ್ ತಗೊಳ್ಬೋದು ಏನೇನು ನೋಟಿಫಿಕೇಶನ್ಸ್ ಪಬ್ಲಿಷ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಅದೆಲ್ಲ ನಾವು ವೆಬ್ಸೈಟಲ್ಲಿ ಹಾಕ್ತೀವಿ ಸೊ ದಟ್ ಮಕ್ಕಳು ಅಪ್ಲೈ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇರಲಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ.
ಇವಾಗ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಕೂಡ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಸಲಹೆಗಳಿಂದ ಅವರು ಬೇರೆ ಯಾವ್ದಾದ್ರು ಒಂದು ಸಂಸ್ಥೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಸೇರಿದ ಮೇಲೆ ಅಲ್ಲೇನಾದ್ರೂ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಸೆಟ್ ಅಡ್ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿಲ್ಲ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅವ್ರಿಗೇನಾದ್ರೂ ತೊಂದರೆ ಆಯ್ತು ಸೊ ಅಲ್ಲೇ ಅವ್ರು ಕಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಾ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಆಪ್ಷನ್ ಮುಂದಕ್ಕೆ ಏನಾದ್ರೂ ಇರ್ಬೋದಾ?
ನೋಡಿ ನಥಿಂಗ್ ಇಸ್ ಪರ್ಫೆಕ್ಟ್ ನೈದರ್ ಎನ್ ಇನ್ಸ್ಟಿಟ್ಯೂಷನ್ ನಾರ್ ಎ ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್. ಸೊ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಆ ಥರ ನಮಗೆ ಕೇಸಸ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ, ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆಕ್ಟೇಷನ್ ಏನೋ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಆ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆಕ್ಟೇಷನ್ ಜೊತೆನೆ ಆ ಮಗು ಇನ್ಸ್ಟಿಟ್ಯೂಟ್ ಜಾಯ್ನ್ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ, ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ತೊಂದರೆಗಳು ಕಾಣಿಸ್ಬಡ್ಬೋದು. ಸೊ ಅಂಥದ್ರಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಇನ್ಸ್ಟಿಟ್ಯೂಟ್ಸ್ನ ಅದನ್ನ ಕೇಟರ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. ನೋಡಿ ಈ ಮಗುಗೆ ಇದೆಲ್ಲ ಬೇಕಾಗಿದೆ, ನೀವು ಪ್ರೊವೈಡ್ ಮಾಡಿ, ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ನಂಬ್ಕೊಂಡು ಬಂದಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಸೊ ದ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಓನಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಆನ್ ದ ಇನ್ಸ್ಟಿಟ್ಯೂಟ್ಸ್ ಟು ಟೇಕ್ ಕೇರ್ ಆಫ್ ಇಟ್. ಸೊ ತುಂಬ ಇನ್ಸ್ಟಿಟ್ಯೂಟ್ಸ್ ಒಬ್ಲೈಜ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಇರೋ ಅಷ್ಟು ಅವ್ರ ಕಡೆಯಿಂದ ಏನೇನು ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು ಟು ಕೀಪ್ ದ ಚೈಲ್ಡ್ ಕಂಫರ್ಟೇಬಲ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಅದ್ರ ನಂತರವೂ ಅಷ್ಟು ಡಿಸ್ಸ್ಯಾಟಿಸ್ಫ್ಯಾಕ್ಷನ್ ಇದ್ರೆ ಮೆಂಟಲ್ ಪೀಸ್ ಇಸ್ ವೆರಿ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಫಾರ್ ಎನಿ ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್. ಸೊ ಇನ್ ಕೇಸ್ ದೇ ಆರ್ ಟ್ರೂಲಿ ಅನ್ಸ್ಯಾಟಿಸ್ಫೈಡ್ ಅಂದರೆ ದೆನ್ ಐ ವಿಲ್ ಗಿವ್ ದಮ್ ಅ ಚಾಯ್ಸ್ ಟು ಗೋ ಫಾರ್ ವಾಟ್ ಎವರ್ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಹಿ ನೀಡ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಎಕ್ಸೆಪ್ಷನಲ್ ಕೇಸಸಲ್ಲಿ ದಟ್ಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ಅ ನಾರ್ಮ್ ಬಟ್ ಕೇಸಸಲ್ಲಿ ಸೊ ಅಂತ ಇರೋದ್ರಲ್ಲಿ ಅಥವಾ ಎಲ್ಲ ಮಕ್ಕಳು ಬಂದ್ಬಿಡ್ತಾರೆ ನಮಗೆ ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ದೇ ವಾಂಟ್ ಟು ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ಲೋರ್ ಆಲ್ ದ ಇನ್ಸ್ಟಿಟ್ಯೂಟ್ಸ್. ಒಂದು ತಿಂಗಳು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾಡಿದ್ವಿ, ಒಂದು ತಿಂಗಳು ಅದು ನಮ್ಮದು ಒಂದು ಡಿಸಿಪ್ಲಿನ್ ಕೆಟ್ಟಬಾರ್ದು. ದಟ್ಸ್ ವೆರಿ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ದಟ್ ದ ಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್ ಮಸ್ಟ್ ಬಿ ಡಿಸಿಪ್ಲಿನ್ಡ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಆರ್ಗನೈಸ್ಡ್ ಅಂತ. ಸೊ ಅಂಥ ಕೇಸಸಲ್ಲಿ ವೇರ್ ದೇ ನಾಟ್ ಕಂಫರ್ಟ್. ಇನ್ನು ಕೆಲವರು ಮಕ್ಕಳು ಹೋಮ್ ಸಿಕ್ ಆಗಿಬಿಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಬೇರೆ ಊರಿಂದ ಬಂದಿರ್ತಾರೆ, ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಸೆಟ್ ಆಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ, ಎಸ್ಪೆಷಲಿ ಲೇಡೀಸ್ ಮಕ್ಕಳಿಗೆ. ಸೊ ದ ಪೇರೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಗೆಟ್ ರಿಲಕ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಆಫ್ಟರ್ ಅ ಪೀರಿಯಡ್ ಆಫ್ ಟೈಮ್. ಇಲ್ಲ ವಾಪಸ್ ಬಂದ್ಬಿಡು, ಅಷ್ಟು ದಿನ ಇದೆಯಾ, ಇದು ನ್ಯಾಚುರಲ್ ಏನೇನು ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ಸ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ ಅವ್ರದ್ದು. ಸೊ ಅಂತ ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ
ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಓಕೆ ಬಟ್ 9 months ಕೋರ್ಸ್ ಇಲ್ಲ 1 year ಕೋರ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ
ಅಂತ ಇದ್ರಲ್ಲಿ ಕೆಲವು ಮಕ್ಕಳು ಆಗ್ತಾರೆ. ಲೈಕ್ ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಡೆಲ್ಲಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ತುಂಬಾ ಟೆಂಪರೇಚರ್ಸ್ ತುಂಬಾ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆಗುವಾಗಲೂ 3 ಮಕ್ಕಳು ವಾಪಸ್ ಬಂದಿದ್ರು. ಅವ್ರ ಮನೆ ಹತ್ರ ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಕಂಫರ್ಟಬಲ್ ಇದೆ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಅವಕಾಶ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದೀವಿ. ಸೊ all that at the end of the day we're all human and we are there to yes at the end of the day we want child to be at peace and to study, that's all. So these are all official formalities that we have to keep a system going, but it's not a very hard and fast rule atra enilla, but yeah, sometimes we have to be a little flexible and we do that.
Okay,
in the interest of the students, of course we do that.
And these students once they are like clearing their exams, what is the percentage that you see who are committed to their profession and who just take it too light? Like how is that ratio going forward?
Okay, so I am myself here for less than a year now, so it's too early for me to gauge, but in the past the success rate has not been great. I should accept that, and so the efforts are now on making the students more serious. In fact, nane Zoom meeting taguntini where the institutes switch on their camera in the classroom so the kids can also hear, and we tell them that you're here for a purpose, so you'll have to get through as desired by us.
So because
and them.
You will have pressure from your authorities to maintain the right coachings and get
coaching we are doing, but then ultimately success rate, because these are very tough exams in the country, so it's not a degree examination where someone gets a distinction and gets through. So that has a lot of, it's multifactorial. Okay, so anta scenario we just wish, and this is the first batch that I have inducted as CEO of PETC, and I have all my eyes on our students, and any small inconvenience or they immediately bring it, they flag it to me and I take care of it. At the end, just hoping that we get many numbers this time, and this time we are also going for police constable and police sub inspector training. So because a lot of kids from North Karnataka want to do this,
andre avrige special agi enadru alle
residential coaching.
Okay,
we are coming up with that. So we expect that this time from Samaja Kalyana Ilakheಯಿಂದ ಈ ಸರಿ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಗವರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಜಾಬ್ಸ್ ಏನಿರುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತದ್ರಲ್ಲಿ we want to see big numbers. So we're all we're very focused on that and working on it. So let's hope for the best. Okay.
And before we close, what is the message you want to give today's youth who are aspiring to be KAS officers like you or join services and who are in the journey? What message would you give them?
I would just tell them that it's not very easy. At the same time, it's not impossible. Okay, so when I could do it, I think the
A
kids are
married
much
woman,
more. Yes, I
a
was
woman, a
having a
mother.
lot of responsibilities when I even attempted or think about attempting, but don't lose hope, because make it a part of your personality to have that resilience and perseverance, and it's required in every field. It's just not for a government job. You get into a private setup also, there are more struggles there. So this is something that they'll have to mold their personalities as per the contemporary requirement. Government job ಅಲ್ಲಿ to get into government job ಎಷ್ಟು struggles ಇದೆ, to succeed in private sector also ಅಷ್ಟೇ struggles ಇರುತ್ತೆ. So the child should not back out. Once you have taken a strong decision, go with it. That is what I would want to say. Don't break down in middle.
And
Be steadfast and committed and have that perseverance. It doesn't happen like this at the snap of a finger, but you will have to put in efforts that you will have to do anywhere to succeed in life. So this is just one sphere of it, government service.
perfect. I think you have summed it up really well. Have that focus, have that persistence, and the world is yours. What is
Yeah.
your mantra for life?
I think I take things very positively. And that is what has kept me going, I guess. So being positive is very important. Be energetic, be positive, and then even if you have failures, you will overcome them. You can either overcome them with a smile or with a tear in your eyes. So
You have to still overcome.
You have to anyways overcome it. The life doesn't stall there. So it's better to overcome that with a smile.
And that burns your enemies even more.
Oh, that's a good way of looking at it. Yeah, but then that doesn't let you down. Your energy levels don't go down. Don't get depressed and don't get dejected.
Yeah, I think before that, I
better.
would want to actually, I forgot to ask you this. How much is mental strength important in the process of preparing for any of the competitive exams?
More than mental strength, I would say perseverance.
Okay.
Kids, they shouldn't, like, as I told, don't stop midway for not having succeeded. It takes a lot of courage to get up and then get
And
moving
especially
again.
after a failure, it becomes
after
even
a failure
more.
And see, the number of seats and the number of applications, the ratios are like, they are not balanced. Basically, we have lakhs of applications and we have very few hundred seats. Okay, so ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಪಾಸ್ ಆಗಕ್ಕಾಗಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ಇನ್ ಕೇಸ್ ಆ ಥರ ಫೇಲರ್ ಆದರೂ ಕೂಡ ಓಕೆ, ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಸರಿ ಪ್ರಯತ್ನ ಪಡೋಣ ಅಂತ ನಾವು ಆ ಥರ ಯೋಚನೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಕೂತ್ಕೊಳ್ತಾ ಇರಲಿಲ್ಲ. ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ಆ ಫೇಸ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ, ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಅದನ್ನ ಕ್ರಾಸ್ ಮಾಡಲೇಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ. Okay, so at my not having cleared UPSC, I just sat back and I wouldn't have been here, right? So a phase barutte avaga I think you need a lot of support from the family. If you have someone to admonish you for having gone out there, tried and suppose failed, that breaks you down totally. So I think there the family and the peers and the mentors, they play an important role there at the time of failure for any child. That is when they need to be lifted up and motivated and encouraged. ಅದು ಬೇಕೇ ಬೇಕು. ಅದು ಯಾವುದೇ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್ ಇರಲಿ, ನಾಟ್ ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಸಿವಿಲ್ ಸರ್ವಿಸಸ್, ಎನಿ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮಿನೇಷನ್, because children at that age they're mentally very sensitive also, and kids these days, this generation is all the more sensitive, so they're not mentally strong. But yes, you're there out in the world, so you have to strength ಬಂದ್ಬಿಡುತ್ತೆ ಅನ್ಸುತ್ತೆ. With one or two failures, you get emboldened. So and it's high time that they get emboldened.
ನಿಮ್ಮ ಹತ್ರ ನಿಮ್ ತರ KS ಆಫೀಸರ್ ಅವ್ರು ಮಾತಾಡ್ತಿದ್ದಾಗ ಇದನ್ನ ಕೇಳ್ಕೊಂಡು ಎಷ್ಟೋ ಜನ ಹೆಣ್ಮಕ್ಳು, ಎಷ್ಟೋ ಜನ ಆಸ್ಪೈರಿಂಗ್ ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ಸ್, ಓ ಇವ್ರ ತರ ಆಫೀಸರ್ ನನ್ನ ಆಗ್ಬೋದು, ನನ್ನಿಂದ ಇನ್ನು ಎಷ್ಟು ಜನಕ್ಕೆ ಮಕ್ಕಳಿಗೆ ಅದು ಸಪೋರ್ಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಅನ್ನೋದು ತಿಳ್ಕೊಂಡು, ಇಫ್ ದ್ಯಾಟ್ ಇಸ್ ದ ಸ್ಪಿರಿಟ್ ದೇ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಕ್ಯಾರಿ ಫಾರ್ವರ್ಡ್, I mean, we can see a lot of successful candidates.
There are many, I don't think I am, all that inspiring. There are many tough journeys that other officers have had. So, but nevertheless, everybody has their own struggles. They have their own struggles, and there's no life without struggle. So, you will have to anyways face it, embolden yourself, and you will have to stand up and face this world. It's not a very rosy, crowd to face. It's not a very rosy path either. So ಅದೆಲ್ಲ ವಿತ್ ಟೈಮ್ ಬಂದ್ಬಿಡುತ್ತೆ ಮಕ್ಕಳಿಗೆ. ಬಟ್ ಓನ್ಲಿ ಥಿಂಗ್ ಇಸ್, ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಮಕ್ಕಳು ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಸೆನ್ಸಿಟಿವ್ ಇರ್ತಾರೆ. ನನ್ನ ಹತ್ರನೇ ಎಷ್ಟೋ ಜನ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಏನೋ ಟೆಕ್ನಿಕಲ್ ಎರರ್ಸ್ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ, ಮಿಸ್ ಔಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಬಿಟ್ಟಿರ್ತಾರೆ. ಅಂಥ ಸಿಚುವೇಶನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ದೇ ಕಮ್ ಕ್ರೈಯಿಂಗ್ ಟು ಮೀ. ದೇ ಆಕ್ಚುಲಿ ಕಮ್, ದೇ ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಅಂಡ್ ದೇ ಕ್ರೈ, ಎಸ್ಪೆಷಲಿ ಗರ್ಲ್ಸ್. So these are very small things. They have to get tougher if they have to make it to the top there and do
In
something good
life,
in life.
what are the situations that made you really tough?
One was, when I couldn't get through UPSC. Yeah, then the KPSC I attempted only because it just came in that moment. So I attempted that. Yeah, for me, I think personally, a tough moment was when I was without a job. I had got a top rank. I was 20th rank then, but it went to court for years together, and I couldn't get back to my dentistry, nor could I, because the next notification bandirlilla. So I was not able to attempt either the exam or go back to my old. So I was just
That
jobless
period
waiting.
ontara
That was a
mentally
mental
challenge.
turmoil, totally. I totally. Those are the kind of issues when life stands still and nothing moves forward. And it's a very common situation, most of them who are preparing for civil services, because they feel it's not moving ahead and you can't even get back to your
ಸೊ ಇವಾಗ
academic
ಈ ಕಷ್ಟ, ಈ ಟ್ರೈನಿಂಗ್, ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್ ಇದೆಲ್ಲ ಆದ್ಮೇಲೆನೂ ಚಾಲೆಂಜಸ್ ಇರ್ಬೋದು.
ಇರುತ್ತೆ ಲೈಫಲ್ಲಿ till you I think die you will have challenges. One cannot live without it. Yeah, but then at a younger age when you don't have so much of maturity and you'll have to face all this, it is a little disheartening. For sure it's disheartening, but now things have gone better, systems have gone much more quicker. ಅದೆಲ್ಲ ಆಗ್ತಿದೆ. But yes, when you have to leave everything apart, like I had a very lucrative dental career. I had to let go of that and prepare for this. At the end of the day, I was unemployed, even despite having everything.
Having everything.
Got selected in KS and having been a topper dental surgeon also, I was still unemployed. So yeah, those kind of,
Life
not just
throws
me, I
it.
think for most of them, this is the scenario, because somewhere life goes to a standstill for a certain
ನೀವು
period.
KS ಆಫೀಸರ್ ಆದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಅಂತ ಚಾಲೆಂಜಸ್ಗಳನ್ನ ಯಾವ್ದಾದ್ರು ನೋಡಿದ್ದೀರಾ ಲೈಫಲ್ಲಿ?
Uh, I don't think I should be saying. Andre, ನಾವು ಟ್ರೈನಿಂಗ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇರುವಾಗ that is a very transitory phase. When we have training, you are an officer, uh, but you're not treated like an officer because you're a trainee, officer in making. So when I had to drive my own vehicle and look around for parking in many government offices, that was ನನಗದು ತುಂಬ ಬೇಜಾರಾಗ್ತಾ ಇತ್ತು, because since my dad was also in service, so I've always had that luxury. When I had to come for trainings and when the security says no, you can't park here, you go. I still remember I had to walk for a kilometer after parking my vehicle to the place of my training, because yellow parking sikkilla. So it's a private vehicle, I had to, and then walk down. Though I knew that I was AC grade officer and all. Ad ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಆವಾಗ ಬೇಜಾರು ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, but then when you think of it,
I think those were the hardships you had to
throwback
had.
ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡಿದ್ರೆ, now when the same security person comes and opens the door of the car and I'm like, this
Life
is
is
the
a
person who
circle.
made me go round and round without letting me park anta. So yeah, it's fun when you go back, but at that point of time it doesn't feel
It's
good.
definitely not a pleasant
No,
experience to
it's
go
not.
through.
It's really not.
But I think these are what shape us, right? And in the same way,
Yes,
when you
it has emboldened me. That's, you grow as a person, you get stronger. You also need to have some tough phases in life. Only then that is that
if it's
you grow.
only ಸಿಹಿ ಆಗಿದ್ರೆ ಯಾವಾಗ್ಲೂನು ಸಿಹಿನೂ ಟೇಸ್ಟ್
See, world
ಅನ್ಸಲ್ಲ.
is you can have that sweetness only within the boundaries of your family and your house, is what I feel. Once you step out in the world, it's all very bitter. So when one experience, a candidate's experience that in early age of life itself, I think they're much more ready to face the world, is what I feel. It was opposite in my case, because I was always very cushioned, and then getting into it and doing it all by myself,
Now
I
you're
felt
thrown,
very
like you go fight the world.
So for people who have been facing this from the beginning, they don't feel much of or gashtu ansalla, that blow is not more. But for me, yes, definitely it was.
But you still became an amazing officer, inspiring and helping a lot of students. And may this keep continuing. And wishing you a lots and lots of success in the process of helping a lot of aspiring students.
Yeah, I think
Thank you.
I'm just doing whatever best I could do in the little bit of role that is given to me. And I think every officer, I mean, our government is having, I think, one of the finest officers. So, and to be honest, my department, my minister, sir, my principal secretary, sir, everybody supports new ideas. They give us a free hand. You want to do something good, go ahead. So that has worked very positively on us. So else we will, if there is some kind of a reluctance from the top authorities, then I also cannot put forth my ideas.
But
Right.
is it always like positive support from the officials on top?
Touch
or
wood, I have been having it all through. Never have I had any kind of a setback. Putting forth something good. I think I've been lucky. That's it. Right.
Let that luck continue in your life.
I hope so.
And thank you so much for your time.
Right. Thank you so much, Archana.
Thank you.